Hello, I'm Tanya from English Challenges, and welcome to this week's live lesson. So, this week's challenge, for those of you who are my challengers, was family collocations. So, today I'm going to give you an in-depth lesson of just a handful of them. So, typically, when I give you challenges, they're pretty general. I give you some practice for the first day. Our live lessons get really specific, so you get really bonus material. And then Thursdays, it's the Facebook challenge. Those of you who are not challengers, what are you waiting for? Go to EnglishChallenges.com, sign up, it's free, and you become part of a really special community. I really love my challengers. Okay, and hi, Bruna. Those of you who are challengers, check your email. I sent you the notes for today's lesson so you can follow along, and you get extra sentences because I won't have time to read them all and share them today. Okay, so for a special beginning, we'll start with, this is kind of backwards, right? But we'll start with the bonus. So the bonus at the bottom of your notes, I have a little section with expressions that are kind of weird. So it says weird expressions that native speakers say. So I'm going to go ahead and check that out as well. And let me know in the comments how you are today. Let's see. Hi, Bruna. Again, I already told you hi. Hugo, hello. Okay, so at the bottom of your notes, the weird things that native speakers say. So again, our theme today is about family, and we have some specific ones. Right now, or today, we're talking about marriage, divorce, and babies. So whether that's part of something that you're living, or if not, you probably know someone who's going through one of those three. Okay, so the weird things native speakers say, you'll often hear couples say, "We're pregnant." So even though only one person in the couple usually is the one that's pregnant, sometimes you'll hear them say we're pregnant. So when they do that, it's okay. It's considered normal. Another one that I just shared on Instagram is knocked up. I don't know if you remember, there was a movie with that title a few years ago. So if you hear someone say, "I'm knocked up," it means I'm pregnant. She's knocked up. She's pregnant. He knocked her up. So notice the position of the pronoun. He knocked her up. It sounds violent, right? Typically, I associate knock with hit, but that's why it's important to know these. I don't recommend using it, but I recommend feeling comfortable with it in case you hear a native speaker use it. So he knocked her up means he got her pregnant. Now, typically, that means, I would say that the typical implication there is that it's probably not a planned pregnancy. And when you hear this in movies and in TV shows, try to take into account the context. You would never hear someone say that at a business meeting, for example. So you want to keep in mind this is very, very, very casual, not always appropriate. But again, a big part of studying English, it's to choose the phrases that you use and then to choose the phrases that you're just going to learn for understanding so you can enjoy your movies better. Hi, Sharif. All right. And the last weird thing native speakers say, you'll hear people say, "Let's make a baby." So let's make a baby. And typically you'll hear this, maybe the couple will say it to each other. It does just mean let's have a baby. And this could have different meanings. It could mean have it in the traditional way. It could mean, especially now that we have more technology and we have different ways to get pregnant. So now it has a more, I guess, versatile meaning. Okay, so those are three expressions that are kind of weird that native speakers say. Let me know in the comments which one's your favorite or which one do you think is the weirdest? They are kind of funny. Okay, so let's see what we have. So if you're following along in the notes, we're going back to the top. So that was from the bottom of the notes. And we're going to start with marriage. Okay, so we have, as you can see in the notes, we have get married and to be married. And there are a couple of common mistakes that I hear a lot with these two expressions. So to give you some of and feel free when you're watching this, if you're watching live or if you're watching the rebroadcast, feel free to type sentences that you think of as you go along. And I'll try to read as many as I can and help you. Okay, so they got married 2 years ago. So you could say, I got married, we got married, they got married. So they got married 2 years ago. And a quick reminder, in English, a wedding is the ceremony. A wedding reception is the party. Marriage is the relationship. And then to get married, it's kind of backwards. We're going back to the beginning. To get married is typically when well, okay, see, this is why we have a distinction. Some people get married, but they don't have a wedding. You can just go for the legal process, at least in the US, you can just go sign some papers and you get married or you are married. So not everybody has a wedding. Okay. Another example, I'm getting married next month. So I'm getting married next month. You could also say, if you're having a wedding, my wedding is next month. But now you know there's a little difference. Maybe you're not having a wedding, but you're getting married. So that one's a little more general. It could mean both. Do you want to get married one day? So this is an interesting question if you have a friend who speaks English. I don't recommend this for small talk. It's too personal. So don't ask someone small talk about getting married. But if you have a deeper relationship, if you have that comfort level, then you can ask something like, do you want to get married one day? To get married. All right, so we're going to pick one of those sentences to work on pronunciation. Hi, Mohammed. Okay, so we have, they got married 2 years ago. So remember that my big focus with you is to help you sound like a native speaker. So I want you to listen to the difference between they got married 2 years ago. Again, perfect pronunciation, but does it sound natural? Nope. They got married. They got married. So those 3 words, they got married. So repeat after me. So if you can, hi Julian. So if you can, try to say this out loud. They got married 2 years ago. Years ago. So those are linked. Years ago. So again, one more time. They got married 2 years ago. So these are little things that you might think, oh, okay, that's why I never understand native speakers. It's not always because what I hear the most from my students is native speakers speak too fast. Sometimes, yes. And sometimes it's not that it's faster, it's that we blend words and we link words. So this is what I'm teaching you every Tuesday, how to listen and how to sound more like a native speaker. All right, let me check out some of these comments. Okay, good examples. Let me see. Can we say got married in a civil way? Oh, interesting question. So with this one, you can actually just say they got married, but they didn't have a wedding. So got married can mean just the civil marriage, just the signing, and then wedding is the party. But that's how I would differentiate. So maybe you could say they got married, but they didn't have a wedding. Good question. Okay. So next, to be married. So here we have it, it's slightly different. So looking at these examples, you would say, I'm married or I'm not married. So let me know in the comments, are you married? So if you feel comfortable sharing. If not, you can make it up, no problem. So I'm married, I'm not married. We've been married for 7 years. So you could say, we got married 7 years ago. So notice the difference. We got married 7 years ago. Or we've been married for 7 years. Okay, so these are good distinction. So if you are married, write a sentence using one of those two. So the question is, how long have you been married? And if you're not married, think about someone in your life who is, maybe a friend or a relative. You could say, my parents have been married for 10, 40, whatever years. So you can always find a way to practice. The last example from the notes, is your brother married? So when you're asking about someone, are you married? Is your brother married? Is she married? Okay, so these are examples with those. And I've included, thanks to my beautiful Instagram followers, of which I see many of you in the chat. So thanks for coming. I asked my Instagram followers to send me sentences so that I can also share with you some common mistakes. So we're checking these out in the notes. So some mistakes that I noticed from my students, as well as some of the examples that I got today. I am get married. So if you're going to say this, it depends on what you're talking about. If you're saying that you are, you can just say, I am married. If you're talking about the future, I am getting married. So I am getting, ing, getting married. The next one, I have got married since 2011 or 2011. So the correct way would be I've been married. I've been married since 2011. I've been married. The last one, I'm really happy to got married with Mehdi. Oh, yes, I'm so glad I included this because this is the number one mistake I see with married. So in English, we say married to, not married with. And this is a common mistake because in a lot of languages, it translates to with. So married to. You might hear people, I'm married to my best friend. I'm I'm married to my best friend. So to. All right, so the correction here would be I'm really happy to be getting married. So if you're talking about the future, I'm really happy to be getting married to Mehdi. Or if you're talking about the present, you're already married. I'm really happy to be married to. To be married to Mehdi. All right, so challengers, check out your notes. If I'm going a little quickly, you have everything there for you. Now, for pronunciation practice, let's try the question. Is your brother married? So here, it's perfect pronunciation, but too much enunciation. It means every word I paused, right? Is your brother married? Now, let's listen to how you can say this more naturally. Is your. So is your. So here's where you can listen, look, and repeat. It's not is your, right? Is your brother married? So brother married. Those are enunciated, but is your. It almost sounds like a Z, right? Is your. So try it. Is your brother married? Good. And these are skills you can take with you or use for anything. Anytime you have a question with is your, now you know how you can pronounce it or say it in a more natural way. So this is where we take really specific lessons, but I give you the skills to apply it to bigger things and other topics. All right, my cousin got married 3 years ago. Then she got divorced 1 year after. Good sentence. All right. Oh, I love that you talk to each other. Yes, that's another great thing. While I have to teach and read the notes and read that, please, please, please talk to each other, get to know each other. This is where we create our challenger team and you make friends from all over the world. Okay, the next one we're going to talk about from that example, we now transition to divorce. So we have to get divorced and to be divorced. Let's talk about some examples. Okay, I think we should get divorced. Now, this one in your notes, I gave you two options because you'll also hear, I think we should get a divorce. So you can say get a divorce or get divorced. So I think we should get divorced. Personally, while both are correct, I would say the second one. I think we should get a divorce. So to me, that sounds a little more natural. Getting divorced can be so expensive, right? Especially if you use lawyers. So getting divorced. So we have the ing. Getting divorced can be so expensive. The third example, even if you get divorced, you still have to get along for the children. So if you're talking about or giving advice to someone who has kids, you can say, even if you get divorced, you still have to get along for the children. Yeah, gets complicated. Okay, then now, when do we use to be divorced? So the simple sentence, I'm divorced. So, no, are you married? Like, no, I'm divorced. You could also say, you could give more details, but the simple answer is I'm divorced. She's divorced. He's divorced. They're divorced if you're talking about the couple. Another example, being divorced is a little more complicated when you have kids because you still have to see your ex a lot. Isn't that right? So being divorced. So it's not getting divorced. Getting divorced is the process. Being divorced, think about it as the aftermath, the rest of your life. You're divorced, but you still have to see your ex. Ooh, a bonus thing here that something I notice people get incorrect. The difference between ex and late. Your ex-husband means that he's still alive and you are divorced. Your late husband means you did not get divorced, he died. So that's a big difference. So ex-husband or ex-wife and late husband or late wife. So late means they're dead. You didn't get divorced, they died while you were married. Okay. I'm checking out the chat. Excellent. Oh, okay. So I see some of you are sharing the cultural consequences of divorce. So that's interesting. Let's call the Hugo. Let's call the lawyer. I can't put up with you anymore. So can't put up with you. Nice. Okay. So now to be divorced, we have one more example. They were unhappy for a long time, but now that they're divorced, they're both happier than ever. Okay, so now we're also focusing on the positive. So now that they're divorced, so that means that they already got the divorce. Now it's the state of being divorced, the after. They're both happier than ever. And as I go along, I love it. So definitely in the chat or in the comments, if you're watching this later, give me or write some examples. Learning English is good. Using English is better. Okay, some common mistakes, and thank you, my beautiful Instagram followers, for your submissions. So I hope that we will never be divorced. So the correction here, I hope that we will never get divorced. So I would say get divorced. And again, for me, even more natural in this case, get a divorce, but both are good. So not be divorced. If you were to use be divorced with a D, but in this case, it doesn't fit. So get divorced is more common. The next one, get divorced is not an option. So when you have it at the beginning, we need the ing, the gerund form, getting. Getting divorced is not an option. So again, ed, divorced. Now, if you say getting a divorce, there's no D. So getting a divorce is not an option, or getting divorced is not an option. And the third one, get divorced is more difficult than get married. Okay, so this one, similar to the one before. So this person remembered the D, divorced, and then married, but it's getting. So getting divorced is more difficult than getting married. Yeah, that can be true. Okay. I'm seeing some great examples in the chat. Yay. Let's see. Getting divorced is better than living in a broken house. Broken house. You know what? For that's a great sentence. For that particular, which I'm glad that you used that. It was in the activity from Saturday. We typically say broken home instead of house. So this is a great use of collocations. It's just things that sound more natural. So broken home. Let me see. We should think about our happy life. We shouldn't think about getting divorced. Okay, good. So divorced with a D. Excellent. All right, let's see. Next one, talking about pregnancy. So for pregnancy, we have to be pregnant, to get pregnant. There are slight differences. So let's check out the examples. They had no idea she was pregnant, so they were surprised and thrilled to hear that they were going to be grandparents. Okay, so they had no idea she was pregnant, to be pregnant. It feels like I've been pregnant forever. I know, can you imagine making a baby inside of your body for 9 months? So sometimes it can feel like forever. So this is something you might hear a mom say. It feels like I've been pregnant. It feels like I've been pregnant forever. My boyfriend wants to have a baby, but I'm nervous about being pregnant. We're going to look into adoption. So in this case, being pregnant is the state of pregnancy, right? So it's the whole, as we say, the whole kit and caboodle, the whole process. So I'm nervous about being pregnant. We're going to look into adoption. So that's a little different than the next one, which is getting pregnant. So you'll start noticing a pattern of, if you look at the examples of when we use getting versus being. Okay, so now to give you some getting pregnant examples, let me see. She wants to get pregnant, but she's having some complications. So that means she wants to be with a child or have a child, but it's difficult for a lot of women. So she's having some complications. So she wants to get pregnant. They wanted to get married in the spring, but she got pregnant earlier than they expected. So they're postponing the wedding until the next year or until next year. Okay, so they had a surprise baby. So they said, okay, let's do the wedding later. So that way it's more comfortable, maybe. And the last one, he can't wait for his wife to get pregnant. He's so excited about being a father. All right, so he can't wait for his wife to get pregnant. Excellent. I'm seeing some more. My brother's wife is pregnant. Excellent. Good, good, good. Hi, Sonia from Instagram. Oh, I'm so excited to see you. Thank you for coming. Now let's do a little bit of intonation and pronunciation practice. Let's do the last example we just did. So he can't wait for his wife to get pregnant. So this is the difference between good pronunciation and real life pronunciation. Technically, every word was perfect, but it makes you sound like a robot, right? So now I'm going to teach you how you can practice this to sound more like a native speaker. So if you can, try to repeat after me. All right, so he can't wait. He can't wait. So notice that it's not can't wait. It's still important that the T in can't is heard, but it's a little more subtle. He can't wait. He can't wait. He can't wait for his wife. So a lot of times, if you read the word for, so look at my mouth. Oh, for. It sounds and looks like that. However, have you noticed that when native speakers, Americans in particular, say this word, it's reduced. It sounds like fur, fur. So he can't wait. He can't wait. So that's blended. He can't wait for his wife, for his wife. So the H, especially my Italians, I know I'm always telling you, and my French students, that you have to really say his. But it is a little subtle when we're doing it in this way. So for his wife to get pregnant. Ah, here's another one. Not to get pregnant, to get pregnant. Okay, so this one sentence, we've divided into 3 sections. American English, unlike other languages, we don't have an inflection after every single word. We tend to do it in pieces of sentences or thoughts. So understanding these patterns will help you listen better and also speak more naturally. Okay. Yeah, I see some of you to get pregnant. Good. So what I tend to do when I'm teaching this, in writing, you can put a little dash in between the words that are blended. So if you have this in your notes or you're writing it, you can write to dash get dash pregnant. So when you're reading it, you know that goes together. And again, this is what I said earlier, that you think native speakers speak faster. Sometimes we do, but sometimes it's not the speed. It's because we don't have the pauses in between every word. And this is awesome. Like now that you know this, it changes the way that you listen and that you experience English. Okay, excellent. Now let's take a look at some of the common mistakes with pregnancy. Not pregnancy, but the word pregnancy. Okay, so the first one is she is getting pregnant, so she must keep her health. That's not the best way to say it. I would recommend saying she wants to get pregnant. So she wants to get pregnant. So she must be something like extra mindful of her health. So she's getting pregnant. I'll be honest, that sounds like right now she's in the middle of the process of getting pregnant. So that's awkward. What you really mean is she wants to get pregnant. The next one, she has got pregnant. Oh, so this is why I really love teaching this, because they're really simple corrections and they'll help you speak more clearly your message. So in this case, we would say she's pregnant. She's pregnant. So she's. And the last common mistake for this one, I wish that someday will come I get pregnant with twins. So I wish that someday will come I get pregnant with twins. The good news is the better way to say this is simpler. You just need to say, I hope I have twins someday. You could say, I hope I have a boy someday. I hope I have a child someday. In this person's case, I hope I have twins someday. So tell me in the comments, do you hope to have any particular situation. So for me, I don't want children. So that would not apply to me. So if you don't want to have children, you could say, I don't want to have children, or I hope my sister, I hope my sister has twins one day. Maybe you want to be the cool uncle or the cool aunt like me. So let me know in the comments. Excellent. I see other people who also don't want kids, but you can still use this to talk about your friends and family. So this is why it's always relevant. Or you can talk about TV shows, right? Like Phoebe got pregnant. Phoebe had triplets in the show Friends. Okay, so I have a few more minutes with you. The last thing we're going to go over is talking about babies. And this one's shorter, as you can see in the notes. It's a shorter section. But I really wanted to go over this because I hear this mistake a lot. So we say to have a baby, okay, not to get a baby. In fact, I'm going straight to the common mistake because it's so common. I hear it from almost all of my students. So she's going to get a baby. You could say she's going to get a car. She's going to get a purse. Things that we would buy. But for babies, we have them. So she's going to have a baby. Now, of course, it changes if you're doing a different kind of family. For example, if you're adopting, she's going to adopt a baby. She's going to foster a baby. So to foster children is a different process. We have adoption. So you want to be mindful of what the process is. But for this particular one, it would be she's going to have a baby. And the examples, let's see, they're going to have a baby. So we say they for the couple, even if only one of them is pregnant. We would say they, if that person has a couple. Of course, we have lots of parents who choose to be single parents. So that's a little different. So they're going to have a baby. She's having a baby is the same thing as she's pregnant. However, you can also use it to mean like if the woman is in labor, like she's having a baby right now. She's at the hospital. She's pushing. She's in labor. So that one can be flexible and you need context for clarity. So she's having a baby can mean she's pregnant. We're having a boy. Oh, so when you're talking about gender, if that's something that you choose to talk about, you would say, I'm having a boy, we're having a girl. So you also use to have. All right. And if you missed the first few minutes of the lesson, the weird things native speakers say is we're pregnant. They talk about it as we, or we say we, even though only one person is usually pregnant. She's knocked up. He knocked her up. So she's knocked up means she's pregnant. He knocked her up means he got her pregnant. Now, when we say he got her pregnant or he knocked her up, usually the implication is it was not planned. So that's where we use different words to tell a different story. And then let's make a baby. So sometimes people say that when they say, you might hear that in the movies or on a TV show, like, let's make a baby. So it can be an endearing way of saying, let's get to the process of creating a baby, if you know what I mean. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for joining. I always try to keep these lives at less than 30 minutes so that I respect your time. And I really love that you're spending time with me today. And if you want to be a challenger, if you're not, so you can get the notes delivered for free to your email, then go to EnglishChallenges.com and sign up, or I'll put the link in the notes. Also, if you would like to check out some of my courses that I'm making, go to EnglishChallenges.com/courses, or check out the video notes, and I'll link all of them there. Thank you so much for spending part of your Tuesday with me. I hope you enjoyed this. And I'm loving all of your examples. I know I didn't get to read all of them. Oh, hi, Jerson. But I'll try to check them out later. Let me check out some right now. Oh, you're welcome. Good night, Hugo. Bye, Bruna. Tell us about your vote. Oh, I actually voted early. So I submitted my vote because I had oh yes, anybody who's watching this who is an American citizen, go vote. Remember, voting is really important and it makes a difference. And okay, thank you so much for everything. I'll see you all on if you're a challenger, I'll see you on Facebook on Thursday. We'll have another Facebook challenge there. And for the rest of you, I hope you become a challenger. And if not, I'll get you one day because I really believe in it. It's 3 activities. So 3 days of your week have planned activities to use English. And you get to meet all of these amazing people. Bye, Mohammed. And I'll see you next week. Tuesday, same place, same time. Bye, everyone.